Good evening, everyone. Thanks for attending. Welcome to our British Egyptian Medical Association first webinar of 2025. I'm Muwafa Abdelghani. I'm a pain medicine and anesthesia consultant in Manchester. I'm also the Secretary General of BEMA, or the British Egyptian Medical Association. I'm very pleased to meet you all this evening, and I'm more pleased to introduce Dr. Eskander, or to us, he's known as Goubran, who's not just a general practitioner, but he's also the clinical lead for Cheshire and Merseyside ICB and the GP partner. Today, he'll be talking in what he promised to be an interactive presentation that's going to keep everyone awake. So please, if you can turn your cameras on, that would be appreciated, and try to be as interactive and to engage as much as possible. The topic of this evening's presentation intrigued me very much. I think it's something that we need in our lives more than our clinical skills. Most probably I'm reaching this age where I'm starting to appreciate my mental well-being and my peace much more than before. And I'm looking forward to learn how to balance my life across professional, personal, and emotional domains from Dr. Eskander. The title is The Wheel of Life, and it will explore coaching exercises tailored to the unique challenges of a doctor's life. And over to you, Goubran. Let me know if you want me to do anything or share your screen, but I'm sure you can share it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Muwafa, and thanks to Dr. Atif as well for the invitation today. I'm always glad to be amongst my colleagues in BEMA, and I'm always happy to see BEMA growing, and I think that BEMA is a concept about having stronger community to support each other, and I believe it's achieving this to a great extent. So, as Dr. Muwafa said, I'm a doctor, I'm a clinician, but I'm also interested in resilience for doctors and their mental well-being. And I would say I have taken this quite seriously in the last couple of years, much more than how it used to be in the past, to the extent that I formally, in my appraisal, will be doing a well-being questionnaire with PDPs linked to my well-being, and I also do formal mentorship based on leadership and well-being. And I would strongly recommend this for every clinician working to actively look at how their well-being is. This is a remote session, so I will try as much as possible to make it interactive. I know we have around between maybe 10 to 13 participants. So what I will do to start is I'll try to break you into few rooms. You might already know the people in the room, or you might not know them. So that's a good opportunity to get to know your colleagues or the BEMA network. You might find something exciting about someone. And there is a whiteboard. Can you all see this whiteboard? You can't see it, right?
Yes.
Yes, you can. So my question on the whiteboard is, what do you consider as a doctor to be an important point to achieve balance in your life? Only one point. And just discuss between you as a group the most important point that would achieve balance in your life. And if you're a group of 3, maybe 3 points. If you're a group of 4, maximum 4 points. But each person just gives us 1 point of why is this important for their balance, and expect me to ask you about why did you choose this point as well. So we'll try to make it as much as possible interactive with everyone. And the whole idea, because it's a remote session, we want just to link and just make sure that we all communicate effectively and that we all get to know each other as well, because BEMA is also about networking and getting to know each other. So I'll try to break you into rooms. I'll see if I don't succeed. I might need you to help me, Dr. Martha. So we are around 12 people. So we'll do 4 rooms. So expect 3 individuals in each room. So from each room, maybe 1 or 2 points, and then we will see what can we get out of that. So I'll just do a very random creation. So you might end up in a room with someone you don't know. So try to get to know them quite quickly. And also, I want you to tell me something interesting about your colleague in the room, something that you never knew or something interesting. So each one of you say something interesting about their life and something that brings balance to their life. And then we will see get any fresh ideas this time compared to the last cohort where I've done this presentation too. So something interesting and something that brings balance. And we'll see. Yeah, let's do it. Hello? Am I in the room as well?
Hello. Yes, Goubran, you are. It seems
Right.
it's you, me, and Dr. Ines Al-Ghanimi.
Okay, so I have introduced myself. And Dr. Buffer has introduced himself. So Ines, if you want to introduce yourself to us as well.
Oops. I think it's just you and me now.
Okay. احنا عملنا الموضوع ده قبل كده صح؟ I think ان احنا just you and me. طب انت اول حاجه interesting في حياتك.
But Said, I'm admitting him. He might come to the same room.
Okay.
He did.
Hello?
Yeah. I haven't done my GCSEs off.
Hello? Can you hear us, Dr. Said?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Hi,
Yeah,
Goubran.
right. So the idea of this room, quickly in just in the next few minutes, say something interesting about introduce yourself first and say something interesting about your life that you think is quite unique, and 1 point that you think bring balance to the life of a clinician.
Oh, do I have to say that now? Can I think about it first?
Yeah, it's not an exam, Dr. Said. We're just having
you just walked into a point.
Did you just join? Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I just joined.
You just joined
Right,
into a point in the evening where we have broken into separate rooms and we're doing a little exercise to get to know each other.
Oh,
and
okay.
also to help with the presentation. And the exercise is just to introduce yourself and answer the 2 questions that I'm still thinking of the answer for that Goubran posed to us.
Oh, okay. Let me think about it then. Well, I'm Ahmed Said. I'm one of the GB in Milton Keynes and Northamptonshire. Been for 5 years. I love my job. Maybe that is something unique. That's what kept me in this job, in this country, maybe.
Yep.
Okay,
Right.
and we have Dr.
have
Nader
Nader
Mohammed
Mohammed
as
as
well.
well.
So I'll summarize to you quickly.
Yes.
Dr. Mohammed or Nader, you walked into this evening's webinar, which is an interactive webinar, at a point where we have separated into rooms. And this room has got Dr. Eskander, who's doing the presentation, and myself, I'm moderating, and Dr. Ahmed Said, who's a GP from Milton Keynes. And the room, we just need to answer 2 questions. It's very informal. It's good for networking, and Dr. Muhammad Gamil as well has joined. So the 2 questions that we need to answer in the next, I assume 3 to 4 minutes, Goubran, are...
Yes.
You ask the questions again, yeah.
So this is just a small meeting room. Introduce yourself, say something exciting about your life or yourself, and say 1 point where you think is quite important, the most important point in your view that brings balance to a clinician's life.
Okay, I will start.
Yep.
I'm Muwafa Abdelghani. I'm an anesthetist who does pain medicine for 80% of my work and anesthesia for 15 to 20% of my work. The point that I think brings balance to my life is time for myself, where I travel, most probably every about maximum 8 to 10 weeks. I travel for at least 5 days. And that's the point. That's what keeps balance. You wanted something unique about myself.
If you have something interesting, or doesn't have to be unique, but just something interesting.
I was a medical student at the age of 14.
Oh wow, that's quite unique as well. It's not just
traumatic.
Yeah, it's traumatic. Right. So I believe we will go back to the main session, and we'll see what other groups have to tell us.
You drive, Goubran. Can you get us
Right,
back?
I will. I am. It will happen in the next 50 seconds.
Excellent.
So for Dr. Syed, Dr. Gamil, and Dr. Abdulhamid, we're going back to the main room in the next 30 seconds to continue the presentation or the talk.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, doc.
Sorry, I got disconnected earlier, so I think I just came back into the breakout room.
One of the breakout rooms, but
Yeah.
Yeah, Amor. You're
we'll all
forgiven
be in
because
the-
you're on call. You're fine.
yeah. Hello, everyone. So I think we're all back in the main room now. Right. So I think we were four groups. We'll start with our group. Dr. Muwaffa will say something that brings balance to his life, or the most important point, and something interesting about him, which I did find quite unique as well. So we'll start with you, Dr. Muwaffa.
So in the room, what I mentioned that brings balance to my life and I think keeps me going is that I'm passionate about traveling, and I travel about once every 8 weeks. I make a point in the last few years of traveling, seeing a new place, and hopefully meeting new people as well every about 8 weeks. The one thing that's unique, most probably, or not very common, is I was a medical student at the age of 14. So I've started the suffering a bit earlier.
Yeah, but that's impressive as well, Dr. Muwaffa. That's really impressive. Which room comes next? Anyone want to volunteer?
Dr. Amin will take over from our room.
Okay.
Dr. Amin, can you just introduce yourself in a minute and just tell us?
My name is Amin Gorgi. I'm a gynecologist. I have an IVF unit in Wimpole Street called the Fertility and Gynecology Academy. I'm just saying that the most interesting in my work life is innovations every now and then, particularly in the field of IVF and particularly female reproductive capacity, and that's why I'm still working full-time at the age of 70. So
wow.
I've done advancement. The most comprehensive reproductive immunology support program in the UK, if not in Europe, and I went into PRP. I'm looking at exosomes and stem cells at the moment, so we hope we will introduce them this year. I must say that the balance in my life is more to work, but I guarantee, or I want to ensure at least 2 holidays a year, one with my wife, usually with the Royal College, John Baines, and once with my children and grandchildren. I have 3 children and 4 grandchildren, expecting the 5th to come through. So that's my joy in the holidays. I go once with my wife for 2 weeks, and then I invite all my kids for a holiday once a year. I'd love to make it twice a year. Hopefully this will happen.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Amin. Thank you very much. So I can see a theme about travel here. Next room, any volunteers from the 3rd room?
From our room, we discussed...
Can you introduce yourself first, please? Sorry.
Okay, my name is Amr Salim. I'm an ENT consultant.
Thank you, Dr. Salim.
For my room, the two main points about things that make our life easier at work, I thought from my side, I think it's very important to be content with what you have.
Yep.
And to enjoy it. From Dr. Atif's point, because he was with me in the room, one of the most important things in his point of view is to have a very good relation with everyone, with the whole team. So a very good relation with everyone that you work with.
Yeah, I think those are really, really valid point. Relationship. I will talk a little bit today about relationship, just beyond the work, which is the idea of how relationships can bring balance to our life. And the fourth room. Anyone from the fourth room?
I'm not sure which room I was in, but I'm happy to volunteer. My name is Neda. I'm an ENT registrar at Queen's Medical Center, Nottingham University Hospitals. I was with, I think, Dr. Mohammed, who is an ophthalmology consultant.
Yeah.
I think we had a chat about how to balance work and life. It was mainly about Dr. Mohammed mentioned being with family and making sure that you look after yourself spiritually and practicing your religious practices, which is important. On my side of things, I think from a perspective of a middle grade working in a tertiary center, it's very important to make sure that the on-calls are spaced out and to make sure that your leaves are booked ahead of time, particularly in special occasions. Because the last thing you'd want to do is spend the first day of Ramadan on your own at night working on a neck stab in the hospital, which has happened in the past.
Horrifying stories here. Horrifying.
Yeah, horrifying stories. Yeah, I think that's the main thing.
Yes.
Interestingly, Dr. Mohammed, I think, is working on a YouTube channel for ophthalmology teaching.
Wow.
From my yeah.
That's it. That's definitely interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm very humbled by everyone here. I'm not an interesting person at all. I just recently started exploring extracurricular activities as I've just passed all my FRCSs. So it's time to work on this work-life balance and explore extracurricular activities. Yeah.
I mean, thank you very much, Dr. Duwidar. And I mean, you are definitely doing the right thing because you're here, you're attending, so you are exploring extracurricular activities and your balance. And so there is a theme about travel, family, relationships, and trying to explore extracurricular activities. Those are the themes there, and someone mentioned spiritual as well. So I will try to share my slides. I'll see whether I will succeed in that. Let's have a look. Can you all see that or? Can you all see this now?
Yeah, no.
Yes, you can see it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
You can see it now.
So the concept of this session is what I would say a coaching exercise, right? So a coaching exercise, which I've actually learned during my mentorship about assessing your own life. So it's like a wheel, but the way I see it is it's more like a pizza slices in your life. When I say pizza slices, which do you think is better, like a pizza from Domino's or a pizza from an authentic Italian restaurant? Which one would you prefer to try? Anyone want to volunteer? I mean, some people would like Domino's. I wouldn't choose Domino's because you can have Domino's each time, but the authentic Italian pizza is unique because it's not very symmetrical like the Domino's pizza. The slices are not the same. You will
However,
find
my opinion is if you have the right set of mind and you are in a good mood, anything will be good. Well, on the other hand, you are in the wrong set of mood, whatever you get will be tasteless.
yeah, I would agree on that, definitely. But it's not just about the taste. I'm more exploring about the symmetry, how it looks like, the idea that it is special. It's not special as in it's different. Not everyone is the same. And I meant by this analogy that everyone's life is different to others. So you can't copy what you're having in your life to other individuals. That's what I meant by it. Sorry, I didn't mean the taste, because taste is very different to different people. So why do we need a wheel of life for clinicians? And why is balance important for clinicians? Because clinicians are at the highest rate of burnout compared to any other specialty in the UK. There was a BMA questionnaire which did find that 39% of resident doctors reported high experience of burnout during their work shifts. And around 41% of young doctors reported stress directly related to work. What this tells me that there is something wrong, and there are unique challenges for doctors that are not in any other profession, like the long hours, the long training journey, the emotional and job demands, the extreme financial pressures, no matter at what stage in your life you are, and the very limited personal time or time to do extracurricular activities. And the wheel of life, I would see it as a diagnostic tool, so that you can sit down. I'll teach you how to do it and try to diagnose or scrutinize your life, so that you are able to identify the weaknesses and the stresses. So if we're thinking of it's like a pizza, you will find that the slices are not the same. One slice might be better than the other because it has more ingredients, which essentially mean that you might need to focus on this slice of your life more than the other one. And the idea is that you will only get balance if you can achieve some points in each slice. You will not be perfect in each slice. You will never be perfect in each slice, and you need to be conscious about that. But you have to be conscious that you need to be scoring points in each slice of your life. And those are the slices. And I'll tell you how to do this, and we'll try to do it as an exercise. So first of all, know the slices, write them down, and rate your own personal satisfaction on each of those slices from 1 to 10. And I will do an example myself. And then plot the scores on the wheel and have a look on it and identify the imbalances, the asymmetry in it. And set up goals in each of those slices and visit them a year after. So do it every year, whether it's on your birthday, whether it's on New Year's Eve. Choose a date, do this exercise, and visit those slices 1 year forward and see whether your rate of satisfaction in each of those aspects have changed. And this practice is important to acknowledge doing that firstly, you're not competing with anyone. You're only competing with yourself. And you're not actually competing. You're not challenging. You're trying to improve. It's a practice of self-love and self-improvement. And there is no targets here. The target is to be happier and have this balance in your life. So those are the slices of the wheel of life. I always start with slice number 1, because this is the slice where most doctors can talk about it. Their career, what they do, what they love about their job, what they don't love about their job, the stresses of their job. I mean, Dr. Dewadar mentioned an example where someone can be doing a night shift on the first day of Ramadan, or on their birthday, or on a day where they just have a life event. And how can this impact much your satisfaction about your career? So when we're talking about career in slice one, we're not necessarily meaning that you are a successful clinician, or you are a consultant, or you are the clinical director of a department. This does not define success. Success is defined by your own satisfaction of this career. So if you put from 0 to 10, where would you place yourself? Be a little bit generous, because most doctors have already achieved a lot in their career. But also be realistic, as in, are you actually satisfied with this career? Are you actually satisfied with the business you're in? Are you satisfied with the hospital you're in? And some people will tell me, well, but we can't change it. We live in a world where we have a job, we need to pay our bills, we can't change things. Well, it's not a matter of a big change. It's a matter of doing small increments that over the time will make you feel better. So this is the slice of the business and the career. We are quite good in exploring that. The second slice is about finances. And I would want anyone, I mean, I wouldn't be picking people randomly, but I want to ask maybe the senior clinicians, what is a perception of being satisfied about your finances? Because it's a little bit more than having money in the bank or having wealth. So does anyone want to volunteer of what would make you satisfied about your finances when you are to sit by the end of the year and you would say, I'm happy with my financial position. What does this mean for you? And share it with others. You don't have to share your income, by the way, but just share what you think is a good financial position for a clinician. Anyone want to volunteer, or shall I keep cracking on?
I can speak about it, Goubran.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, you know, if you just look for the money, it will never end. You'll be look for the money all the time. I think what's important that you get enough money to satisfy your need, but this need should not be excessive. So you have to be balanced. So, you know, if you want to, you don't have to buy a sport car, but you have a good car which take you to work. You can go for a nice holiday. You know, as long as you have enough money to do whatever you want, not in an excessive way, you'll be happy. Thank you.
Yeah, I think what Dr. Oli has mentioned is quite a good approach of looking at your finances. That there's no end point in finances, and it's a matter of you being content in what you're doing. But I will expand a little bit more. Finances isn't about what do you have or what do you spend. It's about having a plan. Having a plan for your retirement. You know what's going to happen. The plan is associated with some sort of stability. So you can be stable, as in you know that you'll have an income by the end of the month. You know that in a few years you will be finishing your mortgage or entering into a new debt. So the idea is to sit down and write down, am I satisfied by having a plan? Do I have a plan for retirement? Do I have a stable income? No matter what that is, and how secure I am in this aspect. And then rate yourself. Don't rate yourself about what you earn and what you're spending, but just rate yourself on those aspects. Is it stable? Is it planned? Is there actually a plan? And give yourself a point from 0 to 10. And I would say most doctors will be scoring quite high. We don't appreciate that we are in a much better financial position compared to the majority of people living in the UK. Why? Because we have secure pensions, we have a stable income. We might not be satisfied about the job, but financially, I think most of the doctors on this pizza slice will be scoring more. I'll jump to another slice, which I think doctors are not very good in. And this will be, I wouldn't say a debatable topic, but how about romance? How important is romance? And when I say romance, I'm not talking about friends, I'm not talking about family. I'm talking about romantic relationships. Is this important in the balance of life? I would need a volunteer in that to tell me whether it's yes or no.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. And it's really tricky for you to sit by the end of the day and to write down, am I satisfied by a romance in my life? Am I having the romantic relationship that is giving me a balance in life? Whether that's marriage, any long-term relationship, any short-term relationship. And believe it or not, it's part of of us being humans, because it's extremely impossible to think that as a doctor you're not a human being. You are a human being. And if this pizza slice in your life isn't satisfied, no matter how good you are in your career, no matter how rich you are, you still have some sort of asymmetry in your pizza. So you might need to focus on that and see, well, obviously I'm very well in my finances. I have achieved all I need in my career, but maybe I need to step back. And this is not age related. We're not talking about teenagers having love stories in their teenage. I'm talking about any clinician, no matter how old you are or how young you are. Romance is an important part of your life because it's about bonding, and this bonding will make you more satisfied and more happy of your life. And it's a topic that you will never hear people speaking about it in a professional environment, but I think it is important to talk about it. And the other topic, which I think we very rarely focus on, is fun and recreation in our life. When I say fun, it's about adventure, doing things that are extracurricular, doing things that are solely for leisure, whether that's travel, as we said, whether that's an exercise, and we'll talk about health in a second, or whether that's just something, a hobby that you do, completely not related to your career, completely not related to being a clinician, and this brings some element of satisfaction to your life. So this is what we mean by fun and recreation. And sadly, many clinicians, they enter into this, what I would say, the continuous journey of lack of leisure in their life. Why? Because we enter into medical school, long studying, exams, long training sessions, and then even after we qualify and become senior clinicians, the demands of the job. So how much of your life is to do with fun? And when I say fun, is like doing something adventurous, doing experiences that are completely based about enjoyment. And it's very variable from one person to another because we can't define fun. Every person has their fun different compared to others. And yes, I mean, sit down by the end of maybe today or tomorrow after this session, draw this wheel and rate yourself and be honest. Am I having enough fun in my life? Do I need more fun in my life? Is there any certain actions that I need to do to have more fun in my life? And take it seriously. I would say take this exercise serious. Don't just say, oh, this is just a game for teenagers. We don't need that. We're grown-ups. We need to take life seriously. Well, this is taking life seriously, actually, because it's not just about your career. It's not just about making income. It's not just about paying bills and progressing in your career. It's about enjoying your life. And when this wheel has more symmetry in it, believe me or not, you will become a much more balanced individual. So rate yourself and then put an action plan, as in, what am I going to do? Am I going to be doing some things that are more fun? And what is fun for me? What are the things I enjoy? Is it a hobby? Is it a certain sport that I do? Is it a certain voluntary work that I do? And try to maximize the benefit of it. You might be scoring a 0 today, but try to aim to get this number higher by the next year. And then the next item, which I will also talk about, because I don't think it's amongst doctor is well received, is personal growth. And when I say personal growth, that's very different than a PDP in your appraisal. Because when you're sitting with your appraisal, or if you're a junior doctor or a resident doctor and you're doing your ARCPs, it's a very formative way of trying to put a smart objective. But what I mean by personal growth is growing as an individual, whether that's spiritual, whether that's to do with your faith, whether that's if you have a faith as in expanding on that, or whether that's to do with your personality, as in I want to be more of a kind person. I want to contribute to the community more. I want to feel better about my attitude. I want to have a better character. Why? Because this will make you happier. Being better definitely makes you happier. Contributing to the society definitely makes you happier. Having a strong spiritual connection makes you happier. Whatever what that is, and it is this personal growth as in you're growing to become a better individual, and sit down and try to rate yourself. And when I say rate yourself, be honest, but don't axe yourself as well. There is no decency in life, so you're not going to be the most decent person. We all have our flaws, we all have our weaknesses, but it is important to grow. So what you are trying to achieve is growth. You're not marking yourself as in I'm not weak and I'm not a sinner. No, we are all sinners. What you're trying to achieve is, why am I not satisfied, and what do I need to do to satisfy myself? And I've seen lots of examples about people doing things, whether related to their faith or whether related to their community, or sometimes related to an idea, or related to a concept, or related to helping people in war, for instance, and whether that's in Gaza or in any place. It's the idea of growing with a concept that I want to help others. I want to become a better individual, not necessarily a better clinician, but just a better individuals. And then the fourth, the next slice is family and friends, and we usually bundle those together. However, I personally think that those are two extremely separate points, because your family is very different than your friends. You might be quite satisfied with your friends, but if you have family problems or family tensions, or you don't have enough family bonding, no matter how satisfied you are with the rest of the things, you will still need to work on that. Need to work on building strong family bonds, and approach this as something that is as important as your career. Friends and family are as important as your career, as important as your finance. And again, the idea of those slices is you will never achieve the same. So you will never be a very successful business person and at the same time having the best romance on earth. It will never happen. But you need to have some sort of, what I would say, the lovely asymmetry. As when you look at this authentic Italian pizza, it doesn't look rounded, but it does have some sort of a shape in it. So look at your life as a pizza, that you want to have it to have some sort of a rounded shape. A significant asymmetry would mean that you have one of those slices that are perfect, but the rest aren't. And obviously, health and physical activity are quite important. And why are they two separate things? Because when we mean health, we have parameters for health, as in you are a healthy individual, you're eating healthy, you have the healthy weight, you don't have any long-term conditions. While lots of this is not necessarily in our hand, but you can build on it. So you can sit down and see, how much am I satisfied with my own health? What can I do to improve my health? And it is a wealth. So health is a wealth, much more important than finances, actually. And if you think that you are not achieving what you would want to, try to write an action plan, very similar to what we do in our appraisal, or what we do with the trainees, where we sit down and write an action plan in the portfolio of what we want to achieve in a year, or how we would improve. If you are a clinical lead or a clinical director, you do sit down and revise the KPIs and write SOPs and write targets. We are very good in doing this in our workplace, defining PDPs, defining SOPs, writing a good business plan. But how often would you sit down and write a business plan for your health? As in, what do I want to be in a year's time in my health? What am I achieving in my physical health? And the last thing, physical environment. It's not just about physical environment as in you're exercising. It's about the place you live in. And there is lots of researches that says that a person who is satisfied in the place, the physical place where he lives in, is a much happier person. When I say the physical place, I mean the city, the country, but more importantly, your home. As in, are you happy with the home you live in? Because we spend lots of time in sitting in our homes, equal to how we spend time sitting in our offices and our work. We do sit at home. So when you are at home, do you think that you are satisfied with your home? Does it give you this warmth? Do you want to change anything in it? Is it the right space? Is it the right location? Is there anything you can change in it? And not necessarily changing means spending lots of money or getting a bigger house. Change might be small things in your home that will give you more satisfaction. From the minor things of changing your pillow to a butter pillow, changing your linens to a high quality Egyptian cotton. Those minor things will actually make you feel better. You will be more satisfied with your bed. And being more satisfied with the bed you sleep in, it will help you be satisfied generally with your life, not just with your romance, but with your life as well. So those minor things, do I need to put a new vase with flowers at home that will cheer me up? Yes, those minor things in your home helps bring joy. Do I need to take care of my garden? We are in the gloomy winter and I have the spring season coming and I want to bring some joy to my life. Is it time to think about my garden? Oh, I'm not good at that. Shall I bring a gardener then? Those tiny things are not costly, but they make you much happier. And I know I'm talking to doctors and clinicians, but those slices, if you put them together, they will build a better individual, a happier individual. And a happier individual is much, much more productive in the workforce. Much, much more. The evidence suggests that. If I would do this in my role as a clinical lead with my team, I would tell them, if you are achieving some sort of balance in those aspects, you will be a much productive team, each one of you. So yeah, I've talked a lot and that's time for reflection. So what I would do again is that I will break you again in small rooms and I would want you to reflect on what I have said. Maybe take one or two of those items. So I will assign some rooms and I will give you items and I want you to reflect on them. Reflect doesn't mean that you have to share your own personal stories, but just reflect in what do you think are actions for each of those items. So let me see how I can do that. I'll just stop sharing for a minute. Can you still hear me, by the way? Because I'm speaking a lot and I don't know whether people are...
Yes, you're very clear.
Any thumbs up, anything, any thumbs down? I'm not sure whether...
You're
at
very
this time
clear.
of day, people can tend to sleep sometimes.
You're very clear. It's excellent.
Right. So I will break you in rooms again. Let me just see if I can do that. So we have 15 individuals. So we'll make it maybe 3 rooms of 5s. Right. So we'll have 3 rooms, and in each room, so the room with Dr. Amin Gorgi, you will discuss maybe, I will not ask you to discuss finance and career, because this is extensively used. So you will discuss physical environment and health. In the room with Dr. Ahmed Al-Sayed and Dr. Mohammed Jamil, you will discuss, let me just, you will discuss maybe romance and personal growth. And then the room with Dr. Amr Salim and Dr. Nada Duidar, you will discuss family and friends and fun and recreation. And then I'll give you 3 minutes, and then we'll come back. How can I stop sharing? Are we in rooms, Dr. Muwaffa?
We are in rooms, and it's you and me, and now
Again.
Dr. Osama Salim as well. Oh, just you and me.
Right. How is it going? Is the flow all right, or is it quite quick?
No, it's going very well. I think it's going well.
Those remote things are quite
Yeah,
hard.
they're difficult.
They are quite harder because you don't get the interaction, so you don't know whether people are enjoying it or not.
Yes. That's why sometimes I try. Well, I think we should just tell people to turn their cameras on anyway, but
yeah, just to get some facial expressions, isn't it? Yeah. Are you enjoying it, Dr. Muwaffa?
I'm enjoying it, Dr.
Or is it
Islam.
something repetitive?
لا خلاص, it's very good. It's very good. It aligns a lot with my thinking. بقى أو يعني نسميها midlife enlightenment.
Yes. أنا مش عارف الميد لايف ده when does it start and when does it end, but I think it's a big episode of our lives, isn't it?
Yeah. أنا كنت بسميها midlife crisis لغاية من كام شهر، بعدين قلت لا أنا عملت حاجات غيرت حياتي أظن للأحسن يعني.
لا هي crisis بس بتعمل لك it's a crisis that results in improvement, isn't it?
Yeah. فأنا قلت طب وليه أستخدم حاجة نيجاتيف؟
It's an enlightenment. Yeah,
midlife enlightenment.
I believe it is an enlightenment, actually. I think when we were younger, we used to focus a lot on career and finance.
Yeah.
And we realized, well, it's not that actually.
بس أنا was never أنا كنت دايما بفوكس على الروقان.
Okay.
Let's admit دكتور أسامة سالم.
دكتور سالم. مشي.
He's here.
Okay, we'll give it another minute عشان نحاول نقفل السيشن بحاجة مفيدة للناس.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi everyone. So we'll start with the first room. Dr. Amin Gorgi, if you want someone from your room.
Well, it was only me and Miriam.
Okay, that's fine. Enough. Yeah.
Who is a GCSE enthusiastic young girl with a very promising career ahead of her.
Okay, so she can tell us a little bit then.
I was brought up in Egypt, and when you tackle as a medical student medical career, your life is around this. You have bedside manners, you sit beside the patient, and you ignore other things in your life. So my personal life, I'm not very good at looking after my health because you're busy with other things. And physical activity reasonably, thanks to my dog who makes me walk twice daily. It's very. So I think the way we brought on Egypt is more, but I hope the young generation are better in tackling physical activity beside the career.
Right. Thank you very much for those reflections, Doctor. So I think Dr. El Sayed from the next room. Am I right, Doctor? Anything you can reflect on the aspect of
what I can reflect that it's sometimes very difficult, and sometimes your surroundings is really very difficult for you to get over.
Right. So what I would say
how to tackle these things. Situations are sometimes much more difficult, especially if you come to the UK when you are neither too young, you are like in your almost the end of your middle age. So at the middle age of life, so it's really very difficult.
Yeah, I can acknowledge that. But what I mean is, yeah, we might not have all the fun in the world in the slice of fun, but this is an exercise or a practice where to help people to plan. I mean, we are all different and our circumstances are different, so we can't generalize one rule for all. But the idea of the concept is to help each individual to plan for their life, no matter their age, no matter the circumstances. Because as I said, you're not comparing individuals with individuals, because that's extremely unfair and not just unfair. It will never happen. It's a matter of trying to create some sort of a balance in your wheels, and it's extremely hard. So on the aspect of fun, what I would say as an advice is, not, and I wouldn't, when I say advice, I'm not better than others. I'm doing it the same way. Is sit down, see what sort of fun activities are you doing in your life. Do I need to expand on that? And write down, how can I do this, and revisit this in a year's time. And if you have achieved 1 point on satisfaction, that's a massive improvement. That's what I would say. I mean, there are lots of circumstances that can change or can't change in life, but we can still find fun in the simplest way. Like when Dr. Gori said he's walking his dog, that this can bring lots of fun and joy. Can I just move to the last group, just because of the time constraints? And just move to the last group. Or is this the last group?
We were reflecting on recreation, fun, family, and friends.
Oh, that's a good one. Tell us.
Yeah, I think at the very last few seconds we reached a conclusion. If you combine both of them, that would be amazing. So if you get to do a recreational activity with a friend or family, or have fun with your family or friends, I think that would be incredible. That would create.
I'm really glad that you said that. I was waiting for someone to say that. Oh, who had this smart idea, or was it a collective idea? Can we give credit to someone who came with this idea?
I think it was a collective idea. Dr. Amin.
Was it a collective idea? So so we'll just clap to the entire group. So yes, and this is an action plan, is that you have to combine those slices to try to do something. So you can combine family and friends with fun. You can combine family and friends with personal growth. You can combine family and friends with health. You can combine health with romance. You can combine romance with physical environment. You can combine business with career. So, and this is one of the best ways of doing it, is that if you want to bond with your family or with your friends, instead of just sitting with them, how about doing something adventurous with them? If travel is your passion, doing it with your friends brings more satisfaction than doing the same thing again and again and again. So that's a good idea, is to combine with them. So what I'm trying to say here is the balance is achievable if you have an awareness. The balance is achievable if you have an action plan. The balance is achievable if you have the will and if you have a clear roadmap. Clinicians are at extremely high risk of stress, but this is a call for action. This is a call to commit to self-assessment. This is how I define it. It is self-assessment. Assess yourself and see how are you doing in those domains. And start with one area and improve and build the momentum, and you can combine more than one slice at a time. And just to be more clear, just leave the career and the finances. You will be all right with this. You're being a doctor means you have achieved a lot in your career. You're much better than the majority of others, and you have achieved a lot in your finances. Just focus on the things that, as clinicians, we might be ignoring or have been ignoring for quite some time. I hope I have introduced a new concept or made something that might give you an insight or an enlightenment, Dr. Muwaffaq, on looking on how things are, no matter what your age is, whether you're in your mid-age, young age, or old age. And believe it or not, age is a number. I have seen old people practicing those activities or this exercise in their 80s, and they are still satisfied, because in your 80s you can still improve and you can still grow and build this momentum of self-satisfaction. And I hope I made any contribution and I helped you to improve and to be honest. As I said, BEMA is about networking. BEMA is about supporting each other, and I hope this helped people to improve. Is there any questions or anything?
Can I ask for a favor, please?
Yeah, sure.
Can you send the Wheel of Life by
I will.
email, so we can
will.
put above my desk in the clinic.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's what you should do. Print it and start exercising with pen and paper. Bring your most posh fountain pen and put it there in your office. That's how I see it. Put it on the fridge of your kitchen or in your office and write it down. Be serious in doing it, and believe me, it will pay off in a few years. I'm telling you from a personal experience as well. It will pay off in a few years. Is there anyone who wants to ask a question, or anyone wants to say any reflections?
Yes, thank you so much for this nice lecture. However, I would have preferred that we could have communicated together in Arabic, because I think that should have been the right thing to do. Because I think that if Indians would have had a lecture, they would have spoken their Hindu. Pakistanis would have had a meeting, they would have spoken in Urdu. So I wish we could have spoken some Arabic together. That's my reflection.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ghanimi. Thank you, Dr. Ines. I mean, we have discussed this issue in the past many years ago about the communication language in BEMA, and it was agreed that it's going to be English. BEMA is very collective, and we try to embrace everyone. We live in an English-speaking country. We communicate in English at work. We do have members who actually do not speak Arabic and do not understand Arabic. So I appreciate, I love Arabic actually. أنا بحب العربي جدا وبكتب شعر بالعربي وبموت فيها كلغة. But for the language for communication in BEMA will remain in English actually. But I appreciate the suggestion. Thanks so much.
Absolutely right.
Back to you.
Okay, so we haven't got any questions. I can't remember the number of webinars I hosted for BEMA, but this was one of the webinars I enjoyed most. And most probably it's one of the webinars where I interacted most. I think it would have been great if we were face-to-face, and I'm hoping that we could have this session actually in our next BEMA face-to-face meeting, the annual general meeting, or even if Dr. Eskander has got time, we've got scheduled BEMA meetings this year face-to-face for more than one specialty. We've got anesthesia coming in April. We've got ENT lined up. I think orthopedics is going to happen as well. And I personally think it's more important than the science or scientific topics that we discuss. So thank you so much, Dr. Eskander. When we were preparing for this, or in one of the rooms, I was telling him that I have changed my life and my lifestyle as well in the last 2 years, and I used to call it a midlife crisis, and now I'm calling it a midlife enlightenment. And I'm hoping everyone got enlightened tonight. Wishing you a very good evening and night, and thanks, and see you in the next BEMA webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.